Just like show like you're like a fucking human being. You know, like be a little quirky, you know? Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex, and today I thought I'd do something a little different. So I know deadlines for UC applications are coming up, so I thought I'd share with you my PIQs that I did when I was a senior, which now seems like so long ago, but it was only a year, which is kind of whack. So last year I applied to 8 UCs. I applied to Berkeley, UCLA, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Davis, Irvine, Santa Cruz, and Riverside, I believe. But yeah, I applied to all 8 of them and I got into all 8 of them, so I think that's a pretty, that's somewhat of an accomplishment, sort of. And I got Regents offers at Santa Cruz, Riverside, and UCLA, so there's that. For those of you who don't know, I am a current freshman at UC Berkeley. That's where I am right now. I'm in my dorm. And yeah, these essays kind of are the reason somewhat of why I'm here. If you really want your essays to like... So if you really want your essays to stand out, I recommend watching till the end of this video. Maybe take something away from mine, but don't like copy it, you know, so. Yeah. So I know for the application you have to write 4 essays, but today I'm only going to share with you 2 of them that I wrote, and these I think are my best ones, so we'll just go with it. Cool. So I picked the second prompt. I don't know if they're the same this year, but for my year this was the second prompt. It's every person has a creative side. It can be expressed in many ways: problem solving, original and innovative thinking, and artistically, to name a few. Describe how you express your creative side. And if I'm looking this way, it's because I'm literally reading it from my laptop, so yeah, just bear with me. Okay, cool. So I wrote, some people tell stories with words, but I like to document the world frame by frame. Through video making, I am able to become not just a storyteller, but a problem solver as well. From my montages of scenic national parks to compilations of day-in-my-life vlogs, video making gives me the ability to share how I see the world from my point of view. From the power of my fingertips, I allow my creativity to get the best of me, as I often lose sleep in an effort to master special effects and transitions when editing videos. This past year, however, video making has not only been a personal form of expression, but an outlet to find creative solutions in the world around me. This summer, I received an internship editing videos for the company X8 Media. I was assigned the task of editing and animating a business podcast called The Raisin Brand. Even though animation was new to me at the time, I was able to merge it with my experience in video editing, which exposed me to an entirely new toolkit for me to experiment with. Within the time span of a month, I was able to successfully produce a series of 7 episodes, transforming simple audio files into animated educational visualizations for thousands of young entrepreneurs around the world to watch. The skills I acquired from my internship enabled me to address challenges in my school community as well. During the pandemic, I've been able to take on the task of directing and editing videos as a way to connect the student body during virtual learning. From showing weekly news updates to somewhat comedic skit videos, I started to see my school come together in watching my distinct yet relatable style of video editing. Video editing allows me to craft my own narrative and document the experiences that make up my identity. But lately, I've learned to embrace it as a tool to find unconventional solutions to meet the needs of those around me, whether it be on a 1080p screen or in real life. So I chose this prompt because I think it shows the admissions officers that you're multifaceted, you know, like you're not just this academic person with grades and stuff like that, GPA, SAT, whatever. It really lets your personality or like quirky side of you shine through, if that makes sense. So for this one, it's really important that you find something you're really passionate about. It doesn't have to be related to your major or anything like that. If anything, I feel like it's better if it's somewhat unrelated to your major, just so that you can show the admissions officers another side to you. So I could divide this essay into kind of 2 parts, I would say. So the first chunk of it is kind of like personal side to it, like how I relate to it, like why I do it. And then the second kind of half of it is how I applied that creative side to me in the community around me, kind of. So I mentioned how I like to vlog, how I like to video edit, you know, like learn special effects, stuff like that. And in the next paragraph, I mentioned how I had an internship and how I used that creative side to me in kind of like a professional setting somewhat. And then throughout this essay, another thing that I mentioned was kind of like this learning curve. Like I have like this like eagerness kind of to like learn more about it. Then I also shared what I was able to accomplish with this creative side kind of. So I mentioned I was able to make podcasts, skits for my school, news updates, stuff like that. So I think it's really important that you show how, yes, that creative side is very personal to you, but also how you applied that in the real world, if that makes sense. Okay, and then for my second essay, I did prompt number 7. What have you done to make your school or community a better place? So I wrote, I began to notice a grim disconnect amongst my school's student body. I wanted to find a way to engage my peers within their community while also empowering them to enact change. During my sophomore year, I created my school's first student newspaper, The Red and Black, to give students a voice on campus by allowing them to be part of the conversation on school-wide and real-world issues. Thanks to Adobe InDesign tutorials and Starbucks runs, my staff and I were able to come together to publish bi-monthly articles from the convenience of our laptops. I dove headfirst into the world of journalism, using the newspaper as a platform to reach out to my peers and report on stories waiting to be told. The newspaper became an extension of my curiosity for the world around me. Through the timely interviews and coffee field research, I learned to appreciate seeing the world from different perspectives and how each one contributed to a larger narrative. Soon I found myself engaging students in topics varying from the anxiety induced by social media to the importance of activism. While reporting on campus mental health issues, my staff and I were able to advocate for the establishment of a wellness center at school, giving students the ability to meet with professional counselors throughout the day. In instances such as these, I realized that the newspaper was more than just an opportunity to bring issues to light, but a tool that I could use to create change in my community. Slowly but surely, I saw my school coming together. I was delighted by the sight of my peers reading articles in between class periods. Upon entering school hallways, I no longer felt a sense of disconnect, but one of unity, as students were not only observing the world, but finding solutions to fix it additionally. The newspaper allowed me to find my voice and amplify the voices of hundreds of other students as well. I feel like this is one of my favorite ones. It's also the thing I'm most proud of in high school, starting a newspaper from scratch and kind of seeing how that had effect on my school's campus. Just like a little side note, if you want to apply to Berkeley, this is a very strategic and important essay. I think the first week that I was here, I was attending like a seminar or something during orientation. Forgot who was speaking, but they said, if you want to change the world, then you're at the right place. I think that's an important thing to include as an applicant, that you're willing to create this change and stuff like that. So I feel like this is a very important prompt to include if you want to come here, potentially. So I really like this essay because it kind of shows initiative and it shows this kind of entrepreneurial side of me as well. So I think this essay can be divided into 3 parts. So the first part's kind of like the cause of why I wanted to start the newspaper at my school. And then the middle is kind of like my process of doing it and what starting a newspaper looked like. And then the last part is really the most important part. It really answers the question of how have I made my school or community a better place. My key takeaways is definitely focus on the structure of your essays. You know, it's not your conventional 5-paragraph MLA type of essay that you have to write about. You can really format it however you want, but with that freedom, make sure that your structure makes sense and that it's clear, like, you know, like cause and effect or chronological XYZ, something like that. I think it makes it easier for the reader or your admissions officer to see like, oh, okay, like he's telling a story with this. It's not just like a random structure, if that makes sense. Another tip that I have is to ask yourself, like, after every paragraph, like, why is this information that I'm writing about important? Like, how does it help the essay overall? If it doesn't, you know, like, delete it. Like, I'd say essays are like the most important part of your application, because it shows that you're not just, you know, numbers, GPAs, grades, anything like that. So important. Go into the mindset that the admissions officers know what kind of student you are, and this is your chance to kind of elaborate or show a different side to you that they don't know yet. Like, some people say that to have a good application means like you have a spike, like you just like follow one route. But I think for my case, the reason that I think I got in was because I showed multiple layers of who I am and my interests, my hobbies, and stuff like that. Just like show like you're like a fucking human being, you know, like you're not just like academic 24/7, you know, like be a little quirky, you know. So yeah, those are the essays that I wanted to share with you. Hopefully they were helpful in some way. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, any clarifications, tips, stuff like that, and I will respond to them as quickly as I can. But yeah, you got this. Don't stress about it too much. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, send this to your friend who's been procrastinating their UC apps until the last day. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. See ya!